Alrighty. So first thing I want to do is just maybe recap some of the stuff I've been posting in the chart updates part of Discord. Sometimes it is hard to put everything that's sort of going on in my head into text, and it is easier to, I suppose, rehash it or talk about it. We'll go right back. All right. How far back do we want to go? No, we'll go back to perhaps around. Where is it? Around here. So the 16th was earlier on this week. That I think that was around Sunday, Monday. Um, so essentially, this was when we were trading around that 60k level. We got rejected at the golden pocket, as we can see in the picture here. Very nice rejection, actually. Um, I'm talking about the weekly. I feel like the weekly low is going to be put in early this week. 57.5k. It's proven to be a pivotal level, and we're also go on to say that, but below 57.5k, there's a cluster of 50% levels within that 56k band, and that was going from around 56k all the way up to 57k. Last week, traditional finance indexes closed off the week pretty strong, and so did Bitcoin on the CME chart, because the CME exchange operates. I think it's like late Sunday night is when it opens. This is all UTC time. It opens late Sunday night and it closes on Friday night, and it's not quite Friday midnight. It's like Friday about 10 p.m., something like that. And Bitcoin closed quite bullish on the CME. So for me, it looked like markets were appearing to be strong, and we're likely to see that follow through come into this week. If it doesn't follow through, then it's a dead cat bounce. But yeah, I just thought it was looking pretty strong. Um, and at that point, when I posted this, the rate prediction was split 50-50 between half a point and a quarter of a point. Um, Now, with that, if it was to remain, it's going to get a decent pump in either direction, regardless of the result, because the markets, how I see price being, um, or these news events being priced in, if there's 100% certainty of something, or 100% expectation, or very high percentage of expectation, you're going to have, say, we'll say 80% expectation. You're going to have 80% of the price is going to be uh, it's 80% of the expectation is going to be priced into the move already. So if the expectation is met, you're going to get a little pump. That, yeah, it's going to fill that last 20%, and then the markets are going to carry on doing what they're doing. However, if things flipped to the lower expectation side, so for instance, if we got the 0.25% cut, and there was only a 20% expectation of that, then it's extremely likely that markets are going to dump quite a bit and then continue on their run. So essentially, I think I posted it on here, where I'm saying I'm not minding this price movement. Ideally, we sneak in a green day before now on the US rates, which we did. Tuesday was green. Excuse me. But overall, I'm hoping for that BTC is in a correction, mini downtrend until then, because we had the weekend pullback after the strong finish last week. So I was sort of hoping that we're going to get that Monday red, Tuesday green, Wednesday red, and that's on the provision that the rate cut was going to come in as at the unexpected 0.25%, because by that point it got to, I think it was about 30% or 25% chance of a quarter. That was going to get us down into that 56K band, where we're going to have a bit of a capitulation and it's going to take off. I mean, at the end of the day, the probability was that it was going to be a 0.5% once we got closer to the day. So that idea was starting to get a bit long in the tooth, I suppose. And with the pullback to 57.5, that actually gave us a higher low, anyways. So, but based on that, we got the 0.5%. We finished off the pump. I think we got up to about 61.5K, and then we sold off again because it was continuing that trend. It's finished that correction, and now it's taken off again in the general direction. And if I go into here, now what do I mean by the general direction? So the general direction is up, because we've been going up since 52.5K. That's the close of last week. There's the 3 days pullback. That's the Fed. Oh no, sorry, that's Tuesday. Then this is the Fed candle over here. Well, we can say we've got a pretty decent week back to the downside at about 59K. Maybe it shows a bit better on the hourly chart, actually. Okay, so we've got our pullback to 57.5. This is where I entered in my long position. Up to 61.3. And then we pull back to 59, and then we've taken off since there. So this here is where the rate cut was at 50 points. See a pump, that's finishing off the pricing in of the move. Then we have a liquidation to the downside, extreme volatility. It's actually really wasn't that extreme, to be honest. I've seen a lot more severe moves to both sides, and I think that sort of comes in line with the expectation for 0.5 point was getting quite high, so the volatility starts to drop off a little bit, and it came in as what was expected as well. And then once we've got this out the way, we've then continued on in the general direction of up. So if we go back to here, 382 is held strong. Yep. Okay, so we've already sort of bypassed all this. These were just some target levels that I had at 59.5. It definitely went past that. It's why I have predetermined TP levels, but I always leave some of my position running. So I still have 20% of that long running at the moment. It's a bit of a moon bag, I suppose. I'm already happy with my results that I've got. So I've got my stop loss in profit, and I'm happy just to see where this goes for the long position. Liquidations weren't too high either, so that sort of did suggest that we've still got room to run up. And even now, I think they're sitting at around 200 mil, so we haven't had a big capitulation of shorts just yet. So that's why I'm still thinking that we can still run up. So this is actually a really good chart that I've posted here, showing CVD, and it's just showing how you can get bearishness and bullishness at the same time. So the bearishness is the lines on the top of the price chart and also the top of the CVD. You can see the CVD is moving higher, putting in a higher high. However, the price is putting in a lower high, and it's quite aggressive. You can tell that it's aggressive because the angles of the lines are quite sharp. And that did lead into a sell-off. but it was only a very short sell-off because the overarching trend, as we can see that the much longer lines, the angle of them aren't as sharp, but it's over a much longer period of time. And this is just showing how you can get ebbs and flows in the market. So, we're running up, we hit some aggressive aggressive bear absorption, then we sell off, but we still maintain the trend going up with bullishness. And that ended up leading to our run up to where we are sort of now. All right, moving into the key levels for us to watch. Probably don't really need to worry too much about the downside levels, given that we have moved up. So there's going to be a lot more key levels for us to watch to the downside now that we've got a bit more price action going on. However, to the upside, we had the upper trend line, which is the orange line in this chart. That was providing us resistance. We've broken through that. Then we had 61.5K, which is a recent rejection, a major 50% level. That also was a key level where I think we actually tested it 3 times from memory. So we can see this is it here, 61.5K. So tested it once. And we tested it again. This is on a 4-hourly chart. Tested again. And then the third test was when we pushed through. So that was quite an important level to get through. Top of the parallel channel, which we did get a nice reaction off that one when it did hit. I can show on the 15-minute chart. So this is hitting the channel here, and it got a decent rejection, got down to 62K pretty much, 62.2, drop of $500 or so before it kept on pushing. And I think it was around here was when I said, looks like things are going to start popping. And yeah, it was literally 5 minutes later. I think it got about 100 mil volume on Binance in a 15-minute candle, and it pushed through. And then we've got 65K is the next level, and 65K is extremely important. This is the 65K level here, where we've got the tops of the candles. And the reason why it's important is if we get above here on the daily time frame, that confirms this here as the low. It's a pretty solid indicator that this will be the low. I wouldn't say it's a guarantee because it's definitely not, and you can get stronger signals to say that this is the low, and that would be breaking above these highs over here and closing above there, and then the ultimate confirmation is getting above the all-time high. However, we do have a couple strong signals to say that this is the low. The first one is breaking out of this parallel channel, because this parallel channel is drawn from these two lows to this high at 70K. So this is a downtrending channel. We've broken out of that downtrending channel. So that's the first suggestion that this is the low. The second confirmation will be that we break past 65K. At which point, you'd be looking, if you're still on the sidelines and you're trying to play really conservative and wait to enter the market in a more safe environment based on probability, you'd be waiting for these indicators to sort of play out where you've broken out of the downtrend, you've broken the most recent high from the low, and then you might wait for a bit of a pullback before you enter into a position, and then you can get into the market. But things are definitely looking positive based on that. So for me, 65K is quite pivotal. I didn't go any further than that in what I was posting here about key levels, but I will touch on it right now. So the next key level for me is actually quite a bit way up in this zone over here. We've got the 786, and then we've got the top of the overarching parallel channel. And it might be a little bit hard for you guys to see, but we're at the bottom of the channel over here, we're at the top of the channel up here, and that runs from the March high, the all-time high, where we have had wicks below, but we haven't actually had a closing candle below. We did get a slight closing candle back here, but it definitely had wicks below. But with that, excluding this one day, all the closing candles the closes have been within the channel. Even back here when we dipped down, closing candle was just within the channel, and then we took off again. So I've got a lot of respect for this channel, and yeah, this is definitely a big target zone for me. There is a slight risk that we can get a double top at 65k, but I think for me, just where we are in the market, where we've had such a long time correcting, we're going into, well, this is the 7th month now that we're starting of correcting, and I think we've corrected for long enough where we can start pushing out. Still in a bull market. It definitely feels like, I suppose you could call what we've been in for the last 6-7 months a mini bear market. But yeah, I try not to get too wrapped up in that. We are in a macro bull market. There's no doubt about it. And I think we're starting to get to the pointy end where we start looking to take out some of these higher levels. So we'll continue on here. So this is another example of CVD looking quite bullish. This was shortly after the rate cut. You could see the CVDs running down pretty quickly, but the price is actually moving up. So this is shorts, aggressive shorts trying to get into the market. And there's a lot of spot buyers, a lot of limit orders that are absorbing the shorts, and the price is on the way up. And this is a recipe for disaster for shorters. If any of them were looking at CVD and understood how it works, I'm sure they probably have their time again. So again, CVD still looks very bullish. High chance we push past 61.5 and test the top of the parallel channel around 62.8. It pretty much happened exactly. This is where I'm doing a bit of crystal balling. Yesterday, you can tell when I get a bit excited because I start posting an absolute shitload. Excuse my swearing, and this is where I'm sort of talking about 65k is a massive key level, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be a stopping point for Bitcoin. Provided that we get some closing candles above 63k, which we are getting. We're still above 63k at the moment. And that's just using round numbers. I really do mean the top of this parallel channel. We're getting some significant closes. We want to see the daily close above here and, maintain that into Friday's trading. Then I think that we're going to have a run up to the purple box, essentially, which has a 786 top of the parallel channel. It also shares confluence with prior weekly tops. This is on a weekly chart. You can see there's not a lot of closes above that 68.5k level. There is wicks. NEO is looking really strong. There's actually a lot of the alts are looking quite strong, even though Bitcoin dominance is moving up. I think a lot of that dominance is just taking market share away from Ethereum. Ethereum's, as you guys know from our discussion earlier this week and in a number of our other voice chats, Ethereum is still putting in its bottom against Bitcoin. It hasn't completed that yet. So that's where I think a lot of the dominance is gaining ground. And yeah, for me, NEO is looking better. I know it has had a bit of a lag overnight, but it's had a significant run for the past couple of days. So I'll be looking for these levels to be taken back. Once they do, there is a lot of fresh air above, and we can go into the chart and have a bit of a look once we finish going through here. So we were getting some bearish divergences last night, and that was after we put in the first high it was around 62,600. I think it was 62,580 on Bybit Perps. This is BTC USD, so essentially this is like an inverse futures chart where you actually use your Bitcoin as your collateral, or what you're putting up as capital. This one ran up to 62,620, and you can see that we're getting bearish divs because the CBD is moving up and is almost at to the far right hand side of the chart. It's almost at the same level as what's on the left where we had the run up. However, price is a long way off. So that's quite bearish, and you've got an aggressive amount of longs. Like there's nearly $20 million worth of longs that have been opening up in probably about a period of an hour. So when you get a lot of aggressive longs opening up, that's creating liquidity for the market makers, for the shorters to then take to the downside. So this was looking quite bearish, and to get around it, or to invalidate it, the bulls needed to push the price past that high at 62,600 essentially, and that invalidates the bearish divergences. Because I saw this bearishness, that's why I took a short, and it's quite simple. I drew a fib, and I'll show in the chart how I did it. So this is the price action here. I wasn't really looking at it on this time frame. Over here might be a bit better. So essentially what I did was I drew a fib like that. We'll just clean it up a little bit so we can actually see what's going on. Drew my fib. The 786 was where I had put my first limit order, and then as we saw the price creeping up, I added a little bit more to my bag, and my stop loss was above this wick here, because that's the invalidation of the bearish CV, the bearish divergences, which is really tight stop loss. And so as soon as it wicked through, I got liquidated, which is fine because it invalidates the idea that I had at play. And I wasn't a massive position. It was literally just to be a hedge against my long that I've got open at the time. And that's the exact same tactic as what I used to get into my long. Back down here, there was bullish divergences happening. So I had my long set for 57,640. That was where my limit orders were, and got in over here. It was in this candle here that I got in. My stop loss was literally a tad below this candle here. So again, I had extremely small risk if I was to get liquidated, and if it did get liquidated, it was likely that we're going to continue going down because it would invalidate that bullish divergences, and my idea is then dead in the water. So for me, there's no point in holding on to a position that, if it invalidates your idea of your position, then there's no point in getting married to it and holding on to it. You just cut it, let it go, move on to the next idea. So yeah, got top there. Obviously, posted the picture of it. I share all my winners, all my losers. This is where we're about to go pop. 10 minutes later, pop. Got flip to support. We can see the perfect testing of the breakout as well. It comes down, tests the top of the parallel channel, and then it's taken off. Almost $1,000 from that point. And here we are at the moment. All right. So how about we jump into some charts and see what's going on? I know we've spoken quite a bit about Bitcoin. For the meantime, just to sort of rehash it in simple terms, because I know I've been rambling quite a bit. In simple terms, we don't want to see price break back into this parallel channel. That's the immediate thing that we don't want to see. Then there is also, and I think I deleted it, but we do also have the trend line from up on this high, which hasn't been really tested either. So, if it was to fall back into the parallel channel, we've also got this trend line that we can bounce off as well, because this here is a breakout too. We can see how it's tested it, got rejected, and then pushed through it as well. Much similar to what we got with breaking out of the parallel channel, breaking out of the 50% level. It's not often you get key levels where it just slices straight through on the first attempt. We have a couple goes, and the rejections get smaller before we start taking off. The 886 is providing a bit of resistance at the moment, but I think it's not really going to hold up to. I doubt it's going to hold up. That's just my opinion, but we'll see what happens. Shall we? We'll have a look at the near BTC charts. If anyone has any specific charts you want me to have a look over, please do let me know. Okay, so move to the daily. You can see a bit of a rejection coming on from this top over here. Did wick. It's a bit of a double top look, I suppose, but yeah, has had a pretty solid run on its USD chart. So it's not unsurprising that it is sort of taking a bit of a break at the moment. We can jump into the near chart. So yeah, you can see here in 3 days it's put on. We'll get our little tool out. It's run up nearly 20% in 3 days, which is pretty significant. We don't want to see it start pumping hugely, because then it's more than likely just going to lose a lot of those gains. We want to see it moving up nice and slowly, not too slowly, but nice and slowly. Similar to what we got here. We got a few days up, and then it took a breather, pulled back a little bit, then we took off again, pull back a little bit, taking off again. If we get too many consecutive days in one direction, then it's likely that we're going to lose a lot of those gains. I know this is dictated to a lot by what happens with Bitcoin, but yeah, we just don't want to see massive amount of consecutive days up. Having these little pullbacks is fine. So interesting though how the price is reacting with previous key levels. I haven't touched these horizontals. They're always there, and they're always acting as resistance and supports. You can see resistance along with 50% push through. Yeah, this one's acting as resistance. So I think for the time being, as long as we sit and hold that $4.35 mark, maybe get a bit of consolidation, then we can start looking to test some of these higher levels around $4.80, etc. So for me, NIA looking good. I'm happy to be in my positions there with NIA. The reason star is there needs to be profit taking along the way, because if you just keep going up for quite a long period of time, then you end up having a larger correction period. And you can see it with a lot of volts. Like whenever there's a serious pump on a coin, it ends up having a massive fall down. So a good example would be, actually, this is a really good example, TRB. So we've got a massive move up here where it pumps around 40%, give or take. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green days in a row. And now it's given back that entire move. Even over here, massive pump. This went up 3x in the matter of a week. And it gave it all back. Literally gave it all back. Retraced the entire pump back to where it was before it started. Then we get back into the scam period where it had its massive run up. But when you have these abnormal moves to the upside or even the downside, you typically get it retracing back to where it started from. You want a bit more of a sustained run where it has pullbacks along the way, taking profits along the way. Yeah. So I think moving forward, looking into the next couple of weeks, I think it was towards the end of August when I was doing a bit of a review of what we could expect in September. I'd said that I felt we were going to get a few weeks of green. So at the moment, we are in our second week of green. I know that September is typically our worst month, but it is also a very important month. We've got the quarterly. Maybe I'll jump into a different chart that's not as doesn't have all my crayon drawings on it. Pick you. Okay, no, this one's not going to work because it's a bit of a bogus chart. This one. Pick another one. Buckle markets. This one will do. All right. So we've got the quarterly close coming up at the end of August, end of September as well. It actually maybe looks a bit better on the index chart because it currently on the index chart for August, the volume bar is below the previous quarter's volume bar, which is fine. But we really want to see this quarter be a green month, particularly if we're going to get higher volume than the prior month. And I can show stuff, but we'll just go on the index chart. I'll try to show why. So yeah, this is what I'm talking about down the bottom. You can see the volume for the quarter at the moment is lower than the previous quarter. If we were to get a red month and the volume is to exceed that of the prior month, if we were to get a red quarter and the volume is to exceed that of the prior quarter, it typically doesn't end too well. And I don't want to put the fear of God in everyone, but it is something that we need to be aware of here. We can see back here, we got a red quarter, volume exceeded the prior quarter, and then we went into a sell-off. Where's another example of it? Over here. Red quarter the volume exceeded that of the prior quarter, and then we went into a sell-off. Maybe this looks better on a logarithmic chart. One sec, I just got to flip it so it fixes it up, so I can see what's going on a bit better. Where's another example where we have the volume increasing? I don't know if I already pointed this one out, but anyway, I'll do it again. Red quarter exceeding that of the prior, and we got the sell-off, and it doesn't go back far enough. But essentially, we don't want to see another. We don't want to see a red quarter with the volume exceeding that of the prior month, the prior quarter. So for me, it's quite important that we end up getting a green quarter, and that will just take away this being an issue at all. And that to get a green quarter, I think it's around 62,700, give or take. So we're looking pretty good for that at the moment. It also sort of plays into this also plays into we've been correcting for 6 months, so that time analysis, we are definitely at the point where we can start looking to move out into our final wave, five. You know, maybe we get up to 120k. Maybe I'll flip this again. 1 second. Sorry for making that look a bit silly for you guys. Maybe we get up to up in this vicinity around 220. Who knows? We'll see how that all plays out. But yeah, this last wave is definitely imminent and coming soon. All right. Is there any questions, guys, before we start wrapping up? Actually, just want to have a look at traditional finance quickly. I'm not going to go into the charts, but they're all popping off. They had a strong week last week. They've had a strong few days this week, and it's just continuing. You know, SPX is in all-time highs, making new all-time highs daily now. Nasdaq's a little bit behind, but catching up. The Nikkei has added 1,000 points. It's still a fair way off its all-time high, but it's catching up as well. The Aussie markets are making all-time highs. Hang Seng is doing well. It's it's a long way off its all-time highs, but it's getting up there. FTSE is still doing its thing. Globally, in traditional finance, things are looking quite good and strong. We've got the Dixie falling off, Euro strong, Aussie dollar. Not that you guys care about the Aussie dollar, but the Aussie dollar's looking really good. It's put on about almost 10% in the last couple of months, which is really good to see, at least for me anyway. Oh yeah, that's good to know, Baldrick. We'll see what happens, mate. We'll see what they come up with. It's one of the few. All right. Just wanted to remind you guys that it's unlikely to be a live voice chat over the next sort of 2 weeks. Probably be back around the 7th, 8th of October. I've just got a couple of weeks off. Need to get my house prepped and ready for my baby that's coming in 2 months' time, and yeah, got a few things that I've got to sort out with the missus. So I've got to focus on that, but I'll still be posting up daily updates all the time in the server. I might even sneak in a couple of videos for you guys. Yeah, won't be leaving you out in the lurch. Just makes things hard for me to do voice chats when I've got some other stuff going on. So yeah, feel free to ask lots of questions in the premium chat. More than happy to help and answer them. So, and lastly, guys, just want to congratulate Baldrick on getting married for this weekend. Hope you enjoy your night, mate. yeah, you'll have a blast, and it goes really, really quick. If there's any advice I can give you for your wedding day, is just to soak it all in. Take a minute to yourself just to sit there and look around the room at everyone, all your friends and family that you've got there, because the night goes so damn quickly. And by the end of it, you're like, "What? Where did all the time go? I didn't get to see everyone." Or before you know it, you know you're doing speeches and cutting the cake, and it's starting to wind down. So, yeah, just soak it all in, enjoy it, and hope you have a great time. But for now, I think that'll probably call it for today. And yeah, we'll be chatting throughout the next fortnight within the server. So, no worries. See ya. Bye.